Mastering the pre-seed and seed stages startup success tips. You guys are always asking me about the early stages of a startup. How do you go from an idea to a real business? What separates the companies that make it from the ones that don't? Look, it all comes down to two critical phases, pre-seed and seed. These stages are all about hustle, validation, and building something people actually want. We're talking about putting in the work, getting your hands dirty, and not being afraid to iterate. This is where you separate the signal from the noise, build your foundation, and set yourself up for the growth that comes later. Trust me, this is where the magic happens. In this video, we're diving deep into the trenches of pre-seed and seed. I'm giving you the no BS playbook, the exact strategies I've used and seen work time and time again. We're talking actionable insights you can implement today, not some theoretical fluff. Let's go. All right, so you've got this killer idea. You're fired up, ready to take on the world. That's awesome, but hold your horses for a minute. Before you even think about pitching investors or building a massive team, you need to validate that idea. You need to know if there's a real market need, if people are actually hungry for what you're serving. This is the pre-seed stage, and it's all about proving your concept. It's about identifying a problem that's keeping people up at night, a real pain point, and crafting a solution that's so good people are willing to pay for it. And how do you do that? You get out there and talk to your potential customers. But don't hide behind your laptop, building something in a vacuum. Get out of the building and into the real world. Talk to your target audience. Understand their needs, their frustrations, their desires. This is where your minimum viable audience, MVA, comes in. This is a small, dedicated group of early adopters who can give you invaluable feedback on your idea. These are the people who will help you shape your product, your messaging, your entire business. Now you're probably thinking about funding. Listen, in the pre-seed stage, it's all about bootstrapping. It's about being scrappy, resourceful, and finding creative ways to get things done without breaking the bank. Remember Airbnb? They started by renting out air mattresses in their apartment during a conference. They didn't have fancy tech or millions in funding. They had an idea, a willingness to hustle, and a laser focus on their MVA. And that's what allowed them to build a minimum viable product, MVP, a bare bones version of their platform that allowed them to test their assumptions, gather user feedback, and iterate based on real-world data. The pre-seed stage is all about validation, baby. It's about proving your concept, building a solid foundation, and setting yourself up for success in the next stage of your journey. All right, so you've validated your idea, built an MVP that's gaining traction, and you're starting to see some real momentum. Congratulations, you've officially entered the seed stage, and things are about to get really exciting. This is where you transition from proving your concept to building a scalable business. It's about taking that initial spark and turning it into a raging fire. Now, while bootstrapping might have gotten you through the pre-seed stage, the seed stage is all about securing funding to fuel your growth. We're talking about approaching venture capitalists, VCs, or joining accelerators that can provide you with the capital, mentorship, and network you need to scale. But remember, funding is not a magic bullet. It's simply fuel for the fire. The real work lies in developing a rock-solid business model, one that's built for sustainable growth and long-term success. This means figuring out your revenue streams, your customer acquisition strategy, and your unit economics. It's about building a machine that can generate consistent revenue and profit. Remember Dropbox? They doubled down on user acquisition, constantly iterating on their product based on early user feedback. They listened to their customers, adapted to their needs, and that's what led to their viral growth. The seed stage is all about execution. It's about taking everything you learned in the pre-seed stage and using it to build a well-oiled machine that's ready to scale. And remember, even with all the planning in the world, things will inevitably change. The market will shift, customer needs will evolve, and you need to be agile enough to adapt. Don't be afraid to pivot, to iterate on your product, your marketing, your entire business model if that's what it takes to stay ahead of the curve. The seed stage is a wild ride, but it's also incredibly rewarding. This is where you turn your vision into a reality, build a team that shares your passion, and start making a real impact on the world. Look, building a successful startup is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes grit, determination, and an unwavering belief in your vision. But most importantly, it takes a deep understanding of your customer. Constantly seek user feedback, listen to their needs, and be willing to adapt your product and business model accordingly. Stay agile, be open to pivoting, and never be afraid to course correct. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Leverage your network, seek mentorship from experienced founders, and surround yourself with people who believe in your vision. The pre-seed and seed stages are just the beginning of your journey. Embrace the challenges, learn from your mistakes, and never stop hustling. The world is waiting for your innovation. Now go out there and make it happen.